Orale vatos, this is Organowski of WeAreChange.org, and in this video I specifically want to talk about the official story about how a guy ate a bat, put the world in crisis, and had to shut down the entire economy, and how that specific story has a lot of holes in it, especially with all the information we're getting right now. Specifically, U.S. State Department cables warning about this, especially after visiting the only level 4 biolab in Wuhan, the same lab that the United States funded with a $3.7 million grant, which tested the shoehorn bat, which is specifically linked to this sickness, and was not sold at the alleged wet market where the official story originates. So yeah, we're going to be getting into that, plus a lot more on this independent media organization that is supported in many ways. And one way is through our affiliate deal with GetYourSilverNow.com, an organization that I've been working with for many years, is trusted. And if you're in the market for some precious metals, in my opinion, there really isn't a better deal in town. So yeah, just check out GetYourSilverNow.com, especially if you're looking for an alternative to the dollar. Now, I think this is also a good time to remind you my official position about everything that is happening right now, and that is that I see the economy here, as I've been saying from the beginning, the truly impactful factor that really should have a lot of focus on it. I'm also just as worried about far-reaching authoritarian government policies, and I'm also taking this entire situation with the sickness seriously as well. A large reason for that is what we're going to be getting into in this video, with this either accidentally or on purpose coming from a laboratory. There's other individuals out there that are literally just making up a lot of crazy theories out there. Individuals that one day tell you that this is no worse than the flu, then told you it was 5G, now are telling you that this doesn't exist, telling you that there's going to be massive hyperinflation tomorrow, that we're all going to end up in FEMA camps. And if you're looking for that particular video, you won't be getting it here, to be honest with you, as of course we're trying to look at as much of the data and information to do our best to have a pragmatic report on everything that's happening. But one of the reasons why a lot of people have a lot of theories is because what the government is doing doesn't usually breed confidence, to say the least. Also, it's very important to be skeptical of an overreaching, power-hungry government and the egos of the people associated with them. As of course, there's a big discussion happening right now about reopening the economy, who's going to take credit for it, whether it's Donald Trump or Andrew Cuomo. All of it, in my opinion, a big distraction that I talked about on our second backup channel in large extent, which you could get by clicking the link in the description down below. But one thing is sure is that this crisis has let a lot of government push insane policies that are absolutely backwards and don't help anyone except for the special interests and, of course, many of the big multinational corporations like Walmart that literally is taking their profits and investing it in Wuhan, China. The Federal Reserve is also doing secret bailouts to an estimate tune of $6 trillion, which is, again, just nothing compared to this alleged stimulus check that's going to take a very long time to go out to people, as of course the economy has been shut down. Mom and pop stores are going out of business. People are told to go to Walmart, while of course the projections, hospitals being overrun, all of that hasn't come true, and we're seeing numbers decline in Spain and many other places all around the world. As still, day to day, we are still finding out new things about this sickness that we didn't know before from particular studies that are happening all over the world, including new information about how the immune system overacting is a big factor in creating a lot of problems for the individuals dealing with this. But yet again, we still have so many different variables because of the fact that we legitimately don't know how many people have allegedly had this or didn't have this, how many people showed no symptoms, which creates a lot of variables which make this extremely unpredictable to diagnose and to definitively make a decision on. Another factor that has been creating many variables is how countries are counting the mortality of this sickness related to, of course, the symptoms to it, to the pre-existing conditions, to age, and to other illnesses like heart attacks. Some countries, like Chile, counts the people who have died from this sickness as recovered because they no longer are contagious, while other cities, states, and countries are being accused of doing the opposite of that and overcounting the numbers and even lumping them in with pneumonia, heart attacks, flus, and others to make these numbers look bigger. And again, there is a conflict of reporting from places like Germany, Chile, Italy, even comparatively to New York and California. Each different jurisdiction documents everything differently, which is extremely hard to correlate exactly what's going on here. But one thing that's pretty clear, especially after all of those annoying TikTok videos, is that luckily hospitals are not overrun. But this is an important caveat here. They most likely will be overrun because many hospitals, predominantly all of them, especially in the United States, have stopped any surgeries and other procedures other than preparing for this sickness. Now that this sickness is in decline, many of these surgeries that have been postponed are a month back, and now, sadly, hospitals will be overwhelmed because it's been over a month now that these surgeries, these procedures didn't take place and were postponed. So yes, there will be a rush at the hospital, but it's not because of why you think. Now, are we in the clear here? I still say no. I still say it's rather better to be safer than sorry, because again, we don't know all the data. There are still many variables here, and the fact that this could be man-made has, of course, a lot of implications. And again, this is something I also have been saying from the beginning, that there is a very big likelihood, again, we still don't know for sure, but there's a big likelihood that what came out of Wuhan, China, came out of that Wuhan lab that we all have been talking about. And now we're getting information that the U.S. State Department received 2 cables from a U.S. embassy in 2018, over 2 years ago, warning about inadequate safety at this particular Wuhan Level 4 biolab, specifically citing risky studies on bats and this sickness. And this is extremely eerily similar to what is happening now, where these warnings were coming from. Again, specifically talking about the potential of a pandemic stemming from this lab's work on bats and the current sickness category that it's in. And this is allegedly from 2 diplomatic cables that the Washington Post was able to get their hands on and is reporting right now. Now, the Washington Post definitely doesn't have the best reputation. Their reporting should be met with some skepticism, but we shouldn't rule out that this is a major possibility here. As of course, the cables were talking about a serious shortage of appropriately trained technicians and investigators needed to operate this laboratory, which could explain a possibly accidental release of this sickness. Now, also interestingly, the cables warned that the United States should support this lab because of the dangerous research that they were doing on bats. And through a grant, we found out that the United States gave $3.7 million to this exact laboratory, which again captured horseshoe bats and conducted tests on them, and of course the category of virus that is going around right now. And again, we're talking about the horseshoe bat that many scientists are connecting to this sickness that was not sold at the wet market. The official story about patient 0 also keeps changing and also doesn't add up to the official theory of what we are seeing. And I think personally myself, something bigger is happening here, and could also mean why we've got news of specific intelligence reports that were on the table of Donald Trump, that Donald Trump read all the way back in November, warning about this particular crisis. Now, as we know, and as we reported, the Chinese government knew about this situation all the way back in November, and they opted out to run a massive cover-up, lie to the world, and hide a lot of their findings, while, of course, quarantining their soldiers, leaving the majority of the world blind to what was really happening. The U.S. government also knew, according to these intelligence reports, which should raise some important questions here. Now, again, it's important to point out here whether this sickness came from a natural occurrence or whether it was accidentally or on purpose released from a lab. We still don't know, and that there is only circumstantial evidence so far. But one thing that is clear is that this entire situation has definitely worsened the tensions between the United States and China, as of course China has been kicking out Western journalists out of its country, lied about the significance of this sickness, arrested, detained, and probably did a lot worse to doctors and lawyers who were warning the world about this. And now they are completely locking down and shutting down information related to this sickness, refusing to even give samples collected to the United States. Some labs in China have already been shut down, and a lot of the information that was previously publicly available about this sickness has been taken down by China, that also at the same time is running military exercises near Taiwan with its warship strike group. This, of course, as a major aircraft carrier in the region, has been put out of commission because of this sickness, with the Joint Chiefs of Staff recently issuing a warning to the world, specifically talking about how the United States is, quote, ready. A message that was supposed to be reassuring, but absolutely had the opposite effect of that, as of course many people saw it as a signal that the opposite was true. Now, as these tensions mount, as the media fuels distraction and ego battle around politicians trying to take credit, I am once again reminding you that the only person responsible for you is you. This is also a great time to grow a garden. Great time to take care of yourself, work on your immune system, work out, be in nature, get some vitamin D, and of course also be respectful of the people in your family, in your community, in your neighborhood. And until we figure out all these variables and know what's going on, be ready for anything by being smart and pragmatic about our current situation. So yeah, that's my take on it. I know I'm going to have a lot of spicy comments down below, and that's okay. I always keep telling people, don't believe me, don't believe anyone else, believe yourself, do the homework, do the research yourself, but you know, actually do it. Like actually dig into this, not just listen to some dude doing a vlog. Like legitimately start looking at some of these studies and what is happening in the international press to make up your mind. And then of course, I welcome you and everyone else to be a part of the conversation down in the comment section below. I don't censor comments. I'm all open for a wide-ranging discussion, because the only way to progress society forward is, of course, with freedom of speech. That's my take on it. That's why I'm here. That's why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.